Hi, Paulina. Let's take a look at what you've written here. It's your last set of essays. Okay, the flow chart describes stages of production of 5 different types of tea. Overall, can't really say this, each of. You could say instead, overall, white, green, oolong, and black tea come through 3 to 6 procedures during the producing. The only exception to that is scented tea. It comes through additional procedures. Okay. Let's see. There are a few things that I want to tell you about this. I thought some of the language was a little awkward. Okay. And the flowchart describes stages broken 5. That's fine. And I already told you about this. This was weird. The comes through. We don't really say that. So I wasn't really a huge fan of that. And then so instead it goes through, not comes through it. So green, oolong, black, etc., go through 3 to 6 procedures during production, not producing, just during production. The only exception to that is scented tea. Now, that's not entirely true because it actually, you need first to have these tea types before scented tea um, is created. Okay, so that's what I want to do with that. I want to make those changes. So I think instead of saying that the only exception is scented tea, what you could have said is scented tea is made from the teas except for white tea. Okay, so it's made from the different teas except for white tea. You could have said that. That would have been nice. Okay, and then let's see what else you said. Firstly, fresh tea leaves are sorted and cleaned. Then, depending, with an ing here, depending on the type of tea leaves, I don't understand this. Wait. Okay. Then, depending on the type of tea, oh, okay. Then, depending on the type of tea, comma, leaves are steamed or withered. I see what you're saying. All right, this is really awkward. Let's see how you go with it. Okay, I can't really say that I love the way you've organized this so far. But let's see. White tea requires, with an S, only one more step of drying to become ready. Okay, to be ready or to finish, or yeah, but not to become ready. It's a little strange. To be done also would have been okay. What? Okay. And you can't use while like this. While needs to be a connector. So it has to connect two parts of a sentence. You can't just use it on its own like this, okay? So white tea requires only one more step of drying to be ready, while the other 3 types of tea need several more stages, okay? And that's fine. Not for producing, but to produce green tea, leaves after withering could be steamed green, okay? Fried or pan fried. They come through. You could have said go through, which would have been all right, but I don't necessarily love it. You could have instead said they are rolled and shaped next, or if that is the jasmine tea, they come through drying and adding jasmine. All right, again, awkwardness here, Paulina. Or in the case of jasmine tea, they are dried and uh, have jasmine added. Okay, you could have done that. Oolong tea requires 4 more processes You don't even need to say to be ready. We understand that. Such as shaking or bruising leaf, LEAF, edges, then short fermentation, panning, frying, and finally drying. Black tea requires fewer, not less, fewer processes to be made. After withering, leaves, S, go through, or you could have said are rolled into strips. Okay. So go through rolling into strips, full fermentation, then frying and drying. Okay. I really feel like this is rather repetitive. You're not using a variety of expressions or language. Um, it's like you're not really contributing a lot to this, just very, very minimally. So I think there could have been more done here, like just better showcase of language, okay? Because the expressions and the way you're organizing this, it all feels rather repetitive and like you're really staying very, very close to everything here without really much like of your own language. Does that make sense? I'll see what I can come up with for you. Give me a minute. To produce scented tea, the already made green, black, or oolong tea goes through, three extra processes. They are drying, scenting with flowers or fruits, and finally cooling. Yeah, I mean, you've like basically copied almost everything from here without really using much. Uh, let's see. So what could you have done? I mean, there's a lot you could have done here. First of all, I would have started by saying all four tea types are, all tea leaves are sorted and cleaned. Um, and of the four tea types, only white tea has two additional stages, steaming and drying. Incidentally, drying is the last stage for all four tea types. Okay? Then I would have said that the other three tea types share the next stage, which is withering. Okay? You don't need to say often. That's kind of a detail, but you could just have you could have just said that the next stage is withering. Um, and then there are a variety of things you can do, but the idea is you want to find some commonalities here. Okay, so one thing you could have said is the three tea leaves also can be rolled. Then you could have said, however, green tea must be pan fried, steamed, or fired first. Additionally, then you could have said how they're different. So do you understand what I mean? Um, and then since you've already said that they're dried, you don't have to mention that here. You could have talked about how both oolong and black have a fermentation process. However, for oolong, it's short, while for black tea, it's full. You could have said that these two leaves also have the commonality that they must be, yeah, we said dried before. We already mentioned that. So you could have mentioned this thing about pan frying. Okay, so just trying to find commonalities and kind of putting things together if possible. It's one way I would have done it. Okay, let's keep going. I don't believe this is one of the tasks we gave you. Um, so I have some concerns about correcting it because, as you probably know, we only correct the ones that we've given you. But in any case, let's take a look at this. The given map illustrates the transformation of Stromer Town from 1995 to today would have been better. Overall, the development increased significantly and the town occupies bigger territory now. Is that true? The town occupies bigger territory now. Let's see. Well, it's not entirely true. It's not that it's not that the size of the town has increased. It's just the development of the town has increased. So in terms of size, it looks pretty much the same. The thing that has changed is how much development has gone within that area. Okay. So overall, development increased significantly, allowing more accommodation, more shops, and less, more accommodation, more shops, and less farmland. All right, so you could have said something like that. I think that would have been okay. In 1995, the major part was occupied with farmland on the southeast of town. You don't need to capitalize this. Not the Stromer, it's just Stromer, okay? Had two residential blocks and one block of shops. Residential, let's say block. Okay, fine. They were connected by roads from north to south. Okay. And you don't even need to say of town. You could have gotten rid of that. Nowadays, lots of new roads were added to those existing ing in 1995. The changes had the main negative effect on nature and not agricultural land. Their footprint was lowered dramatically. For example, the farmland takes only 1/4 of the previous land now. Okay, let's see. A few major improvements were done over those years, such as construction of an airport and a school. The airport is located in the northeast side of town and surrounded by forest, but still connected to the central area. A new school was built in the central position of town with uh, with a growing population, comma, the number of residential, careful with your spelling, neighborhoods rose to 7 now. Moreover, uh, 6 of them, this is awkward. I don't know if I like this. You're saying that there are 7 residential areas. One, two, I don't really see that. Oh, wait, maybe that's true. Maybe I'm misreading this. All right, so these are shops. So let's see, you've got 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, fine, fine, fine. All right. This is why I need you to do ones that we've given you. Okay, row 7 now. Moreover, 6 of them are apartments, while the houses were relocated to the far east side of town and occupies just one neighborhood now. Okay. So fine. Um, let's see. I kind of wonder if maybe you spent too much time talking about those apartments and maybe you could have changed your focus a little bit. So I felt like you were focusing a little bit too much on details. Let's see. Like, what did you say about the school? Did you mention anything about it? A new school was built in the central position. Good. Let's see what else. You mentioned the farm. You mentioned airport. Okay. Did you mention the shops at all? Let me just double check. You see, I have to make sure that you did all of this. Okay. Um, all right. Let me see. Yeah, I don't really see a lot about the shops because if you think about it, the shops increased really significantly. So only one existed in 1995, but now if you look at it, you mentioned the school, but the shops surround the school and there's like 6 of them. So I don't see where you mentioned it. You said one block of shops. Okay. Let's see the farmland, airport and school, airport, new school, residential neighborhoods. Yeah, you mentioned nothing about the shops. And so that for me would have been an important thing to talk about. Um, More so than like, oh, well, of the 6 neighborhoods, 7 are of the 7 neighborhoods, 6 are apartments. So I think you maybe could have left out a little bit of that, but just definitely mentioned that, shops increased from 1 to 6 and they're all surrounding the school. That would have been useful. Okay. Um, all right. So why don't we take a look at your task 2 now about companies moving to regional areas. Nowadays, many businesses are being pressured to relocate further away from cities. Some people think that it would bring more advantages, while others, with an S here, argue that there would be more disadvantages of that relocation. The assessor will consider both sides and provide relevant examples of the situation. All right, so fine. Firstly, governments encourage companies to move from city centers in order to improve life quality. We don't call it life quality, we call it quality of life in both rural and city locations. They argue that if business operates, we don't put will after if. They argue that if business operates outside of high population areas, that would lead to less traffic, and as a result, it will lower pollution. Those advantages could be seen in some countries that manage to relocate large business, such as mining and manufacturing ing to rural areas. There they became city forming companies and what? There they became city forming companies and improved life, Life, but again, I don't like life quality. We usually call it quality of life in those regions by providing new jobs for locals and infrastructure around. Okay, solid, good. Some of the grammar, but other than that, or rather vocabulary, but other than that, fine. It's a nicely constructed paragraph, thoughtful, well developed, fine. On the other hand, some companies cannot benefit from relocating away from cities. For example, for many companies, highly ly skilled workers are an essential resource to operate with 1P, and the lack of those specialists are commonly seen in rural and regional areas, as those experienced and skilled workers tend to live in urban areas. Okay, hold on. No semicolon, comma only. Their salaries, I think you mean here, are higher and life is more convenient. Moreover, many businesses provide products and services to customers who live in the city. With the relocation away from the customers, their expenses would rise because that would require complicated and expensive logistics to deliver not produce, which means like fruit and vegetables. I think you want to say products to their customers. Okay, also nicely developed, no problems. Just careful again with the grammar and vocabulary. In conclusion, many types of businesses require various resources to operate. There's only 1P in operate, and they react differently to relocation into regional areas. Even though the relocation of large industrial companies may have some positive outcomes, the disadvantages of relocation of all types of businesses far outweigh it. Okay. Paulina, I like this essay. On the whole, I think it was a well constructed essay. I thought your ideas were solid. I thought the way you organized them was really very good. So yeah, I thought it was good overall. My concerns, of course, deal with grammar and vocabulary because you could see I had to correct quite a bit of it. It didn't create a strain. I wouldn't go that far, but there were some consistent errors in terms of grammar and language. Okay. So this is your last set with us. I don't remember if you told us when your exam is, but I do want to invite you to sign up for more essay corrections. If you've been finding this process with us helpful, I encourage you to do so we can continue working and helping you get to the score you need. Okay, so I hope to see more of your essays and I wish you lots of luck.